It's a Riven jungle as well.
Oh my word. So it's Galio mid for Max Crisp. I have an instant issue with this Dundeeznuts draft.
They've only got one source of damage, and it's the Zeri, and Zeri gets withered.
And it can't play the game because Nasus exists.
I'm at 10 seconds.
Okay, do you want to pause for a sec so we can sync everything up?
Well, I mean, I'm sat at 15 right now, pause.
Okay, I'll get to 15. Okay, I'm at 15. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
Go. I think we're lined up.
Well, I mean, I'm at 20 now.
Yeah, so am I. I think we're lined up. I think we're good.
But yeah, it looks like we're just going to see a standard 5-point from both teams there.
Yep. Very, very much expected, to be honest. Game 1 of a best of 3. You don't want to go giving away a game right at the start. You don't want to fool yourself. Is that the right way of putting it? I don't know. You don't want to fall too far behind early on in the game. Dabis, I think you might be a little bit ahead of us because of the sync up.
Minions have spawned.
Sorry.
We're at 115.
Yeah.
God damn it, Luke.
Well, it's easier doing it this way rather than via a Discord stream where I can only see pixels.
Nah, pixels are fine.
I like being able to see the abilities that are being thrown out.
But yeah, we're seeing just both junglers here, starting on the red side. Well, red of there, obviously, respect jungle, so they shouldn't be meeting up here unless we see some weird invade shenanigans going on.
No, I wouldn't expect any weird invade shenanigans from either of these two junglers. I don't know how healthy the Riven clear is, but it doesn't look too bad so far. Max Crisp taking a pretty big chunk in the level 1, actually, against Winter.
It looks like we're seeing what appears to be a 5 camp from Fanxy as opposed to a 4 camp for Ares, so whether or not Ares then decides to pick up the Gromp afterwards to do a 5 camp as
nice
well,
trade with the early level 2 onto Winter from Max Crisp. Forces out the playful Trickster though, so not a lot of damage going to go through. And here we see the oppressive nature of the Nasus coming through already. Zeri and Yuumi starting to be forced back. Vilestorm having to burn through that mana pool.
Still can't believe I'm actually seeing. Again, I don't watch the Church of LS. Yeah, I can see why the Zeri player might be a bit upset here when just walks up, gets press W on.
Yeah,
so
Weebly is not happy right now.
Well, we are seeing mid list needs perhaps getting a bit too overzealous here for damage.
Yeah,
Senna, so it will heal back up.
Big chunks.
Meanwhile, Galio in the mid lane. Ooh.
Yeah, just missing out on the Justice Punch. Can't quite find the knock up there, but not bad. Good trading on the top side as well here from Dusk.
It is, however, at the end of the day, still a...
Oh, Max Crisp going to take another turret shot. Is he going to tick down to the poison yet? Winter going to find the first blood with the dots.
Not a Justice Punch you want there, completely missing and end up eating another tower shot, which will just result in his death.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate there for Max Crisp. But you have to respect the invulnerability of the Fizz. Like you have to understand that he is able to just take himself away from danger like that, and like a bull or like a matador taunting a bull, Winter baiting Max Crisp right under the turret to take the shot that signals his death.
Yeah, we've seen that, I think, with every Justice Punch he's gone for so far. It's just completely missed with a playful Trickster, which at this point you'd think he'd stop going for it, at least stop aiming it under towers, but yeah, right there, just completely misses, puts him in danger, and yeah, from there it's just an easy pickup for Winter.
From there, gives Winter the early kill. Perfect start, really, for RIPSQUAD. Not really too much of a gold lead developing, just the first blood money, really. But we are starting to see quite the CS disparity in this bot lane, in the Zeri's favor. Oh, Vilestorm going to root up his ADC, though. Bit of a chunk taken out of Weebly.
So again, I think part of it is we are seeing Middle East here perhaps going a bit too far for some of these souls, although we do see the gank coming in here actually.
Banksy is here, Ghost is popped from Outlaw, and the stuns, the roots, everything's going to connect. Kill is donated to the Nasus as well, and the Yumi's now withered. Vilestorm, though, too close to the tower for anything further to occur. So the second kill going straight over to RIPSQUAD. And yeah.
One thing important thing to note on that gank there is that Weebly did try and go for that dash over the wall, but Fancy did manage to interrupt that with the third cast of Broken Wings. So, is that what it's called? I can't remember.
I think it is, yeah. But yeah, very nice to be able to interrupt that. And yeah, all in all, very, very solid start for RIPSQUAD. 2-0 up. Again, only the slight gold lead. But that CS disparity in the bot lane going to be closed now, thanks to the kill onto Weebly. And yeah, RIPSQUAD just enjoying the pressure they've got on the map. The solo kill in the mid lane really going to help Winter out to just win out the trades even harder in this matchup. And it looks to be, honestly, that top lane is the only lane that is really having any kind of struggles now. Another trade going in on the bot lane, Weebly taking heavy damage as the Wither comes through.
So we do see Yumi or the Vilestorm there actually dropping the Ignite just to try and stop that all in from going through there. So that has allowed them to shove in and at least get pressure there, which should just be a free Drake, because we do see Fancy on the other side of the map looking to take that red buff, probably knowing something's up, especially seeing that obviously now that dragon has been taken.
Yeah, Dragon going through. Mountain Dragon going to be very, very useful, actually. Going to buff up the resistances on a lot of these DZN members. And you look at the Malphite, the Nocturne, and the Galio, all three of these champions are going to want to be building quite a few resistances this game.
But yeah, again, watching these trades mid lane, it's Galio landing a Justice Punch against that playful Trickster, it just seems impossible right now. So saying that...
Oh, does manage to connect thanks to the taunt. The Ignite goes down onto Max Crisp, though. And Winter, he might not have got the Playful Trickster off to dodge the Justice Punch, but he has it for when the knockup ends, and he's going to get himself the solo kill again, and now Dusk in trouble. Banksy looking for the gank. The knockup from the Broken Wings, going to go wide, though. And now the Unstoppable Force on to the Garen. Dusk is now looking for the solo kill. His jungler's now in the area, and we got 2v2 in the top side. Fear going to come through onto Fanksy, but not before he claims the kill onto the Malphite. Ares going to have to flash away to keep himself alive, and it is just the 1-0 in the top lane, but it is all RIPSQUAD all the time.
So I don't know if that was the miscommunication between Dusk and Ares there, but Dusk going for the all-in there when his Ares doesn't quite have enough experience for that ultimate to bring him in. Which, if he was able to use that on Paranoia, that's what it's called, then that would have been a very free kill, but again, we see him pick up one camp, and that's going to be enough experience. So I don't know if he just got baited by seeing Fancy just leeching some of that top lane experience, getting 6 mid-fight. But yeah, I feel like Dusk just went a bit too far without jungler support, as he just was not close enough.
And in these kinds of series, going a bit too far like that can be the deciding factor, can be the difference between victory and defeat, and it's just finding that footing. And RIPSQUAD, they seem to be really comfortable so far during this game.
So we do see the fighting coming out here, bot lane.
Yeah, more trading on the bot lane. Zeri ult is going to get thrown down the final chapter, and the Galio ult going to come through as well, and that's going to be enough to dissuade RIPSQUAD. But that's a lot of resources invested for not a lot of gain, other than keeping your bot lane alive. But here comes the dive. Paranoia comes through, but it's all looking like it could go wrong. It's a double kill now for the Nasus, taking the Zeri and the Nocturne down. Outlaw gonna survive. His support given up in sacrifice. But oh no, that is a very, very big dog now.
Decane. Plus
Who-
48.
Who let the dogs out? Oh, this Nasus. This Nasus is going to be terrifying.
Again, I don't know, because like they took that initial fight with Weebly and Volstorm being level 6 and Outlaw and Middle East being level 5. I don't know if they noticed that Nasus had actually got his ult there, which they went for that dive. He just pressed that R. I can't even think what that's called. The Fury of the Sands, and
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah, that's just a big Nasus that you do not want to be seeing at this point in the game.
Yeah, and Nasus. So a little bit more background for you on the Nasus Senna combo into Zeri, right? One of the Spanish league teams. So this is not even like LEC, not even like professional, like top tier professional or everything. There is a team in the Spanish ERL, I think they're called Bison, that were playing up against G2 Arctic, which is like the G2 Academy team, and they were playing Senna Nasus into Zeri. And it's supposed to get smashed in lane. It's not supposed to have a very good laning phase. Nasus, typically a very weak laning champion. Senna, sure she has range, sure she can poke. But if she doesn't have a champion that can walk up and fight to fire at and to heal up, it doesn't matter. Oh, Ares just gets eviscerated.
He's walked into the wrong bush there.
He just got sent
Meanwhile,
back to
in
the
the
Shadow
mid
Realm.
lane,
Good trade here for Max Crisp until the Chum the Waters comes through. Not quite going to burn down as the Dawning Shadow Shield is going to miss onto Winter, but the damage also misses onto Max Crisp. So everyone walks out alive. But yeah. And they... Oh my god. No way does Winter just... Okay. Okay, are we at that point already?
that is what I like to call a series of unfortunate events. We see Max Crisp flash W, misses because of the Playful Trickster, but then the Playful Trickster also misses, and the Justice Punch is enough to stop Winter getting the kill there, and it will be a shutdown for trying to dive the tier 2 there.
Are we really at that point of this series already? And we're only like 14 minutes in. Oh, massive damage thrown onto the center. The Paranoia comes through, delivering death to the Middle East. And Ares gonna pick that one up for himself.
The Fiesta is starting to come out.
I think that the Nocturne needs to snowball if DZN are going to find success in this game. I think they really need to invest in Ares and get him ahead. But now we're going to see Weebly getting put even further behind. The Wither comes through, flashing away, but you can't get away from a ghosted up Nasus. Outlaw is here, and he is on the prowl. Just about going to carry himself to safety is Weebly, though. And a lot of damage traded back through onto Nasus, but those siphoning strikes, oh, they hurt.
So I would like to see some sort of anti-heal picked up by either of them in the bot lane here, just to stop, honestly, on either team. Because obviously we got the Yuumi healing and we got the Nasus Senna healing, so surely we should be seeing some Grievous Wounds come out somewhere, right? Especially as that will probably end up being a Moonstone built as well here for
I would imagine
Wildstorm.
so. If we are going to see Grievous Wounds, I want to see it to be a Chemtech Putrefier. I want to see Wildstorm pick the Grievous Wounds up second. I think that's going to be the most beneficial source. I wouldn't mind... okay, this might sound a bit strange, but I actually wouldn't hate Dusk picking up a Morellonomicon. I don't know. Maybe it's bad, but I wouldn't hate it.
I don't know. Like, I feel like with just a Yuumi Putrefier, since with Summon Aerie, you can just press W and that will give
Yeah, it should be enough, right? But
or even just pressing a single button on the Zeri and her AoE alone. Especially if you do end up seeing the Titanic build coming out. Ooh.
Oh, and we're going to see fighting in the mid lane here. Weebly is getting absolutely deleted, but it's going to be Winter that falls. That's what happens when the Avengers assemble 4 men joining the fight in the mid lane, keeping their ADC alive. And Winter is starting to get a little bit overzealous whilst looking for these picks.
So that will be enough, though, to allow RIPSQUAD to pick up the Herald here, though.
Enough pressure has been generated.
But yeah, as of right now, we are seeing a 2k gold lead for the side of RIPSQUAD. And that Herald, that will just allow them to open up the map a lot more, and many more plays in the map. Oh, we are seeing more fighting going on here, though.
And yeah, I think Max Crisp might be caught out a little bit out of position here. Outlaw gonna be swinging to Kane. Fangsy's in the area. The Wind Slash comes through, and Outlaw with the final hit. That's another plus 12, I believe, for the Nasus. 4-0 now for Outlaw in this game.
So yeah, that is 342 stacks right now.
What?
Into obviously it's double range matchup, which not exactly ideal. But then again, as you said earlier, they're not meant to be winning this lane yet. They've managed to come out 4-0.
Yeah, 4-0 and a whole hell of a load of stacks to boot. Yeah, Outlaw is pretty terrifying right now. I don't think there is anyone on DZN that can match this Nasus in a 1v1. And almost, I think, we are nearing 1v2 levels of stackage for this Nasus.
So,
But what do I know? I don't play that champion.
Would there ever be a world where he builds Hullbreaker, or would he not just because of Zeri existence?
I don't think he will because of Zeri's existence. I know they've set Weebly pretty far behind this game, but Zeri is still a new champion, so she could very easily just start taking over team fights. And when you pick this Nasus Senna, you don't pick it as a Hullbreaker split pusher. You pick it as a direct counter to the Zeri. So I think he won't. I can't see him building Hullbreaker this game.
Yeah, we will see the side of Rip here just starting up on this Cloud Dragon. Important to note, it is going to be a Cloud Soul this game, which Cloud Soul Nasus, Cloud Soul Ribbon. Not something you want to be staring down. Well, it will be at least another
Cloud
10
Soul
minutes.
Fizz
Yeah,
is pretty scary as well. He'll slow you down while speeding himself up with the ult.
I mean, generally, if Fizz tags you, you're dead anyway. It doesn't really make
Yeah,
much of a
true.
difference. Talking
Cloud
about
Soul Garen.
Fizz,
Monka. Oh no, Vilestorm. The Chum the Water's going to come through. It does land. The knock-up comes down. Although, heroic entrance comes in. Winter, exhausted, ignited, Justice punched. Going to try and flash, dash, and dive himself away. Going to get caught by Middle East and is going to get saved. Root comes through, but now the Paranoia is going to follow. Senna ticking down low, and the fear is not quite going to come through. Winter sacrifices himself for his support, but I think the Nasus has gone in. Outlaw is striking and siphoning in the 1v4. Going to get feared up, going to get taunted up though, and that is where the dog cannot survive. Caged up, and Weebly picks up the shutdown. 700 gold into the back pockets of the Zeri. Dundeeznuts fighting back strong in this game.
I'll say 4 very important kills there as... Say, while that was a 4-0, they are still 2,500 gold behind. But again, just... That was, what? 1,600 gold injected? So what was a 3k gold lead is
4K
been reduced
gold lead.
Oh yeah, 4k. I don't know, something close enough. But yeah, that has been reduced substantially now. But if they can find these fights again where they get these members picked off one by one, then they'll be having a good time.
why
Talking
not?
about getting picked off.
Yeah, Middle East trying to get the vision, takes a big chunk for it, pops his Eclipse Shield though, so he should be pretty fine. But that's something that I think both teams really need to start being a bit more careful of. because we've seen it from different members of both teams now, where they will walk a bit too far forward and just get picked. Oh, we've seen Winter fall foul from it. We've seen Middle East nearly fall foul of it. Vilestorm started off that whole last sequence of plays, which sure, it ended up working out for DZN, but it probably shouldn't have, right? But now we might see another play onto Middle East here in the top side. Dusk has the Unstoppable Force ready. Outlaw is in the area though, and that should dissuade. Teleport going to come through from the Garen as well. And that's the Zeri ultimate thrown down. Movement speed going to be starting to stack up, and the Garen's going to fall. Weebly picks up the first kill of the fight. Are there going to be any more casualties? Outlaw running forward with it. Going to go down onto Weebly. Weebly doing all he can with that Zeri burst fire, and is going to find a second kill. Takes out Middle East. Paranoia's coming through though, and now Outlaw with the Fury of the Sands activated. He's going to be swinging that staff in this fight. Fanxy picks up Dusk, and it's looking like curtains in this fight for Dundee. Ares back under the turret, trying to keep themselves alive. Winter going to grab Ares as he joins the fight. Vilestorm just able to sneak out, but no, the Chum the Waters gonna find the cat. The cat maybe fed her fish, but Fizz going to get the final blow.
Yeah, that fight, it's like the moment Zeri falls, their damage is gone.
Yep, and then they can't kill anything. And RIPSQUAD have the tools to be able to get to the Zeri every fight. They have a Riven flank, they have a Fizz flank, they have a Nasus. You know, as soon as Nasus presses W in a team fight on the Zeri, it's as if the Zeri is dead for the duration of Wither, you know?
When you see you're going into this, you would have hoped that they took the cleanse here as at least protects them from the Wither, maybe just long enough for them to actually take these fights.
Well, I'm interested, because obviously the Zeri build is quite bruisery, right? Like, you see the Triforce, you see the Hydra coming through. I'm not sure if it... Is it Titanic Hydra that people build on Zeri?
It's still Titanic Hydra, yes, because...
Will we see the Silver Mid-Dawn come through for Weebly?
I mean, I'm hoping to see a QSS of some sort be built, because you need to be able to stop that Wither. Like, maybe even a Mikhail's from Yuumi as well, since, again, all of the eggs are in this Weebly basket right now.
Yeah, this is a protect the Weebly comp, with Ares doing his own thing and trying to kill Middle East, I guess. And Dusk joining him on that mission. But other than that, it's a protect the Weebly comp. Which can work. Weebly is a very proficient AD carry. He knows what he's doing, and he's pretty damn good at his job. But when the chips are down and when everything is stacked against him, what is going to happen? Outlaw pops the Fury of the Sands and is going to run at Weebly. Massive chunk of damage there onto the Zeri. But the Nasa's isolating himself a little bit from the rest of his team. But the kills in the fight are going to fall all the way to RIPSQUAD. 3 quick picked up for them, and now the Zeri under threat. Zeri, Yuumi, the combination that was picked up, that was prioritized, going to be able to find 1 kill before Nasus brings down the hammer, finding a double kill. I definitely saw one of those kills getting stacked. Outlaw is massive, and it's a 5-4-1 ace in the favor of RIPSQUAD.
There's just not enough damage with the Galio Malphite.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It'd be fine if they could actually engage, but again, the Nasus just shuts everything down. We see Weebly looking to try and fight, but Nasus, as you said, just presses Ghost, presses Fury of the Sands, presses Wither, and suddenly Weebly now has to run away because...
Do you see why this is such an effective counter pick now?
I still hate it. As much as I hate Zeri, I also hate seeing Nasus bot lane being an actual viable counter pick. This goes against everything I know for this game.
Yeah, well, it's 2022, man. Rip up the rulebook. League of Legends is changing. And sure, we might not have adopted this counter pick straight away here in UNL, but this just shows the adaptation of the teams here in this league. RIPSQUAD really coming in prepared for this. Obviously, Weebly, a very known Zeri player. Not sure how many games in UNL games he's actually been able to play the champion, but looking at the OPGGs, you can tell he's been practicing it. So got to give props to Outlaw and Middle East and the rest of Rip Squad for preparing this little counter pick. As we are going to see another engage. Root comes down onto Dusk. Not a lot that can really happen. The final chapter actually going to save the Malphite's life. But now Outlaw is diving forward and oh my. The damage that this Nasus has. But the fight gets turned on its head. Ares flying in like a cruise missile. Going to pick one up, giving two more over to Weebly. The 1k shutdown going over to Max Crisp. And that could be Baron here for Dundeeznuts. And this game is spinning on a dime.
This is the big flip side. If they don't manage to stop this Zeri, they just get wiped.
Yep. Yeah, this is what I mean. Zeri is a 2022 champion. We thought Aphelios was bad. Welcome to Zeri.
So we are just going to see the Baron here.
Yeah,
Picked up completely
gonna
uncontested.
No. And that's an objective bounty Baron as well.
So
that is
Baron
a
gold plus an extra 100 on top.
Large cash injection for the members of DZN. I imagine the gold lead still holding pretty strong for RIPSQUAD, but you can't afford to be giving over too many bounties.
I mean, you say holding pretty strong, like 1.5k gold lead at 25 minutes isn't that big when you're looking at both teams having a combined gold of 90k.
Yeah, it's really not a lot actually, is it? And now, like you say, it comes to, can Rip Squad kill this Zeri? Weebly 8 and 4 on this pick. And I really like the Nasus counter into it. But they need to get reliable access to this Zeri. And Weebly, now he has flashback up, just becomes that little bit harder to access.
It doesn't look like... Say, he has finished off that Titanic Hydra. It looks like it might be a Wit's End next, as opposed to this QSS we're hoping to see.
I can understand the Wit's End. There is a lot of like upfront magic burst, because I believe the Wit's End will offer more outright magic resist than a QSS would. So in terms of the upfront, like, I don't want to get bursted down, I can understand it. But if you don't want to get bursted down, why not go for a Mortimer Mortius? So I mean, out of the options, I think it's probably the worst of the 3 magic resist options he could have gone for.
I mean, I don't even think more is good here, as they don't have that much magic damage threat. There's what? Nasus, E, and a Fizz. Like...
Garen ult magic damage, right? I don't know.
It's true damage now.
Oh, okay.
Hasn't been magic damage for a long time.
That just shows how much I see Garen in my games.
But yeah, we are just going to see this mid lane tower fall here, as there's not really much they can do to contest this Baron right now.
No, and that's going to equalize the gold lead even further.
So interesting to note, as we are seeing the dragon spawning within the minute, which is the soul point here, should Rip be able to acquire it. Oh.
We want a big Justice Punch landing onto Winter. The Playful Tricks, they're going to carry him forward, but the Galio ult comes through. Going to get cancelled out, though, as the Zhonya's comes down for Max Crisp. Charging forward now is Ares with the Paranoia, but the fight is ensuing on to Ares. Ares drops the Fancy first kill of the fight. Zeri is going to get zoned out, but a quick pair going to fall for RIPSQUAD, and the RIPSQUAD health bars are being ripped apart now. Can Dundee close off some of these kills? I think they're currently winning the fight 2 for 1. Gonna fight a third there onto the Nasus. 3 for 1 for Dundee. And this Zeri is a massive, massive issue.
And with that fight, they have managed to take the gold lead here, actually.
And they're going to be able to take the dragon.
This game.
They'll be able to take the dragon as well, denying the soul here from RIPSQUAD, moving themselves to 2 Drakes. And it's going to give them a little bit more out-of-combat movement speed. So it's going to allow that Zeri to dodge those skill shots a little bit easier. Keep herself a little bit more out of trouble. And it's just going to make her a bit harder to pin down. 10 and 4 now for Weebly. Putting the rest of his team in his backpack and taking them to work with him.
So again, we are seeing, like, Nasus managing to reach the Zeri in these fights, but
Well, that
It's
fight,
just-
Outlaw couldn't get anywhere near Weebly. It was all,
he managed
on
to get on
Garrett.
top of him, but then he just jumped over a wall, and there was no one there
Yeah.
to catch him when he landed.
You can't be fighting. I think if you're RIPSQUAD, you can't be fighting Dundee in these enclosed spaces because the Zeri has too many walls to play around. And imagine fighting into a choke point when Galio can just press W and taunt 5 people. You know? I think they want to be fighting in like the open river or in the middle of a lane so that they can take away some of that defensive terrain from Dundeeznuts, if that makes sense. Because Weebly, like you say, dashing over the wall, using the terrain to keep himself alive, really, really nice. And what we want to see from the Zeri.
I just don't want to see Zeri personally, but that's
Yeah, well, until Riot decide to actually balance their AD carries, it's just Zeri Jinx all day, every day.
Oh.
Another engage gonna come through. Fanxy, the one caught out this time, and Weebly Zeri gonna be free firing again. The Spirit Fire is down, but it looks like Winter is gonna get himself out alive. Ensuing fight is not really gonna have too much action as the root is gonna come through on to Dusk. Unstoppable Force not quite gonna get thrown through as there goes the Wind Slash from Fanxy. Not really slashing anything other than wind with that ability cast there. We're going to maybe see an engage. Outlaw's looking to go in onto Weebly here, but is going to get denied. Trying to find the Zeri, but Weebly is free firing now. Weebly is skating away, and Outlaw may find 1 kill. Banksy's on top of Weebly, but it just doesn't matter. Vilestorm's going to pick that one up, and Weebly dashing behind his front line, firing off so much damage, finds 1 Middle East, and oh my god, Weebly is huge. Triple kill on the back of the fight. Winter and Middle East not able to offer any resistance. We said they needed to shut down the Zeri. They needed to get on top of the Zeri and stop her from being able to run through these fights, but Dundeeznuts executing beautifully with Weebly's Zeri here.
Yeah, just Weebly out here, got his entire team in his backpack, Yuumi literally in his backpack. But it's again, like, they managed to get on top of this Zeri, but they just can't kill her. As we all, like, I feel like we're being a bit too harsh on this Galio and Mel fight. As they are putting in work here, making sure
the bodyguards.
Yeah.
The bodyguards, they're
bouncers.
keeping the president alive. It's a full-on protect the president comp, and Weebly is able to conduct his duties and complete his state visit in complete safety.
So if you're RIPSQUAD, you've got to be happy because Zeri is now full build, which means she's not getting any stronger.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
It's still a full build Zeri.
I don't know. Does she have an elixir on? I can't quite tell. I don't think she does.
Okay, it's missing 500 gold. My bad. But there is a Black Cleaver, which 1Q on any target, and that's the full effect of Black Cleaver immediately.
Yeah, that's not great. That doesn't, especially with how little armor is on the RIPSQUAD lineup anyway. Because basically she hits 1Q and then the next one is doing true damage. And we're just going to see the Baron started up here. No? Never mind.
I think that was the Runans onto the control ward there, forcing the Baron to aggro.
Okay. I thought they were actually going to start it, and I was like, whoa, okay, they're starting Baron on top of Scuttle Shrine?
So I think they're strong, but they're not quite that strong to be able to...
Exactly.
We do see him potentially positioning here for a flank.
Yeah, and if they can find the right flank and get straight on top of Weebly, this could be exactly what RIPSQUAD are looking for. But I think Dundeeznuts are sniffing it out, moving into the bot side river, taking control for the dragon that is about to spawn.
So again, it is the soul point here for the side of RIPSQUAD, so they do want to get this.
Yeah, second soul point for RIPSQUAD. Dragon for Dundeeznuts here would tie the Drake score up at 3-3. And the fight is going to kick off. Weebly dashing straight over another wall, going to keep himself alive, and he's going to find the first kill of the fight. Zeriot comes through, and the blast cone's going to knock Weebly into everything, but he's going to survive. The Yuumi heal's keeping him alive, but no! Banksy finds the kill, and now all of the damage is gone. Can Dundeeznuts salvage the fight, or is RIPSQUAD going to just run through them? Ares has the Yuumi in his back pocket, but he is going to get chunked through, is going to get taken down. Fancy going to find that one, and Vilestorm now going to fall to Winter. The Blast Cone sacrifices Weebly to the Wolves, and RIPSQUAD take full benefit of it. I have no idea who hit that Blast Cone. I don't know whether it was one of Weebly's teammates or one of the members of RIPSQUAD. But whoever hit that Blast Cone single-handedly won that team fight for RIPSQUAD.
I think what happened was Weebly tried to use the burst fire there onto Winter.
He Blast Cone himself?
He might have accidentally triggered that himself, trying to kill Winter and stop himself from dying there.
And it's going to be Soul and Baron for RIPSQUAD now.
So all that work that they've just done to try and get himself back in the game is, again, just immediately nullified off of one bad fight.
Oh my word. But we've seen it. Weebly, if untouched, if given the space, if given the time, and put his team on his back, and can solo win these team fights. We see the Abyssal Mask now picked up for Max Crisp. I really like that pickup for the Galio.
I'm more happy to see that the Wit's End has been sold and replaced with a Guardian Angel. Again, I don't think that Wit's End should have ever been there in the first place.
And I think when the Guardian Angel gets procced, it should be switched to a QSS.
Yes, 100%. Silver Mid-On specifically because
of the health scaling with Titanic Hydra. I'm pretty sure Silver Mid-Dawn gives health, right? But never mind, the Paranoia are going to come through. Middle East is removed from the map, deleted with the Nocturne Galio combo, and now Weebly is able to free fire the Zeri ultimate having come through, giving that additional attack speed and movement speed, and allowing him to skate across the map. No further kills really going to come through here, though. And that's a lot expended by both sides. Lots of ultimates thrown down. Winter looks on to Ares, but doesn't quite have the damage to find the kill. And it looks like DZN just going to disengage. They got their pick. I think Vilestorm picked it up. He's going to be very happy with his gold. Going to be able to provide his team with more heals and more shields. And we do see the Mikhails actually on the Yuumi.
Yeah, sure. So I'll say we were complaining about no QSS, but we do at least have a Mikhails on Yuumi, so that is something.
We're gonna have to see how quick Vilestorm is on the trigger to be able to remove that Wither Slow from his ADC, because that again, that could be the difference. Like we said, when the Wither comes through onto Zeri, she is effectively dead. As the Unstoppable Force goes through, the Paranoia comes down, and the Nasus is removed from the map. You don't need Cleanse. You don't need QSS if there is no Wither to be cleansing.
So that, I dare say, that could potentially be gamers. That is that main way of answering the Zeri, and it's gone.
That is the Zeri answer off of the map for 45 seconds. About 35 of that remaining for Outlaw in the Death Chamber, and I don't know if DZN are going to push for this. It looks like they're just going to go for more towers and try and get a second inhibitor. Don't think they had the minion wave in the mid lane. We are going to see bot lane tier 2 is going to fall. Max Crisp now rooted up. Justice Punch going to go back in, and the final chapter is now called. Ares picking up the Garen, but Middle East is on to the Zeri. Jump the Water's going to find Weebly, but Weebly very, very healthy still. Fancy picks up one in the RIPSQUAD backline. But there's no point taking this fight. You don't have your Zeri answer. Weebly takes Fancy off of the map. And Outlaw may be alive now, but he only has his Senna in support. It's 4 versus 2 here for RIPSQUAD, and Weebly haunting Outlaw at this point on the Zeri.
Again, they're down Soul. They took.
But it's only Cloud Soul. It's only Cloud Soul.
You say it's only Cloud Soul. That is definitely the best Soul for catching a Zeri, but we're just seeing really, really bad fights being taken here from the side of RIPSQUAD, as they're just constantly being outnumbered. With, again, I was unhappy about this Nocturne pick at first, but when you're just going to constantly put yourself in positions where Nocturne can paranoia onto one of these key components of your comp, then what is essentially a solo queue champion can work.
Yeah, the Avengers
Whereas
assemble.
I dare say they just need to deathball, because a Nocturne cannot function when they're just deathballing.
No,
And it's
so
not-
Nocturne
not-
just dives in and he just gets blown up.
And it's not like Dundeeznuts have any sort of good split push on their team.
No, not at all.
I say Nocturne can be a good split pusher, but not with this very bruisery-esque build.
Yeah, Galio's not really going to want to split push either. So, yeah, I completely agree. I think the way that RIPSQUAD will close this game out, if they are to win this game, is by deathballing. Whether we see them actually do that or not, whether they even can win the game via a deathball, I don't know if Weebly's going to be able to keep himself alive. Because he's shown that he's able to do that so far this game. Ooh, Last Embrace, just going to go wide there from Middle East, but you can see that RIPSQUAD knows something's up, and that's now going to go through into the bot lane. Paranoia diving forward for Ares, going to be a flash away from the Garen. And now, yeah, Dundeeznuts seem to have almost full control of this map.
So, we are seeing, though, ults burned right before this Elder's about to spawn, which is...
Yeah, this is going to be the game-deciding objective here, this Elder Dragon. Whichever team picks this up, you have to imagine will be the team that wins the game.
Oh, we are seeing maybe a flank coming out here, but oh, it is already seen.
Yeah, it's a big flank, but there's two people in the mid lane for RIPSQUAD. It's 5 versus 3. Why are you taking this fight? Paranoia comes through and Fanxy is going to fall very quickly. Gargoyle Stoneplate is popped there by Outlaw in the middle of 5 people, but I don't think it's going to matter. Winter with a massive chunk onto Weebly, but the taunts are going to come through. Max Crisp going to pick that one up, and now Dusk's escaping on a sliver. Weebly is still alive, but he's not in this fight. Has a Yuumi on top of him, so is receiving some of the healing, and the kiting now going to come through Weebly. He's basically back to full HP. Picks up another. That must be nearly his 20th kill of the game so far. Outlaw is alive, as is Middle East, but what does it matter? Weebly, raining hell with the rapid fire, takes down the champion that was picked to counter him in the game. The second inhibitor falls for DZN, and it's going to be the first Nexus of tonight of UNL Season 6 playoffs is going to fall, and it's going to go over to Dundeeznuts.
We were both wrong.
Yeah.
We were both saying here that would be a RIP favoured first game, and instead...
Yeah, damn.
1-0 to Dundee. And it's Poppy Jungle, which is just kind of the kill switch releasing.
Yep.
I do endorse that one, fuck everyone else.
Oh, let's go. We get a Seraphine. I'm just happy with this.
Why does that make you happy?
I am a Seraphine enjoyer. This whole server knows that.
I tried to forget. Oh, but... Anyway, looking at these drafts, which do you think is stronger? And don't say Seraphine just because you want to go out with her. Say it as we are getting into game here.
We're actually synced. Pretty naturally.
Not seeing any strange summoner choices here.
Or any strange rune choices. Both supports opting for Aftershock instead of Glacial Augment, though. I have noticed. I don't know how I feel about that. I really like Glacial Augment as a rune. I think it's really powerful.
So we are seeing the invade here coming through from...
Do have the Nautilus, do have the Seraphine, but...
Winter, unfortunately, not taking the same path there, getting scouted out early, and yeah, Ares will just walk away knowing exactly where they are. Interesting to see that after they did see the entire team, we don't see anyone on the side of Dundee's going for that ward on the enemy bot side red. But yeah, just back to 5-pointing here.
Yeah, instead we see a much more defensive ward coming out from Vilestorm on one of those bot side river brushes. It's going to be, again, a red buff start from both junglers. Although Ares looking to start leashless here. No is going to call Dusk over.
I'd say Poppy's leashless isn't particularly brilliant. Like, you'd have to start Raptors, and you
I
don't
didn't
really
expect
want to
it to
start
be.
that.
I didn't expect it to be good, which is why I was surprised when it looked like that's what they were going for.
I mean,
But
I think
that's not what they're going for, so it's fine.
I think Dusk wants to have the just make sure Set isn't in that bush because yeah, no matter what champion you are, you're not having a fun time if Set decides to sit on top of you at level 1 with again just 2 autos and a Q. And
This is true. This is very true. I'm interested to see how this bot lane plays out though. And we are going to see the Facebreaker come through in the level 1. So it's a very, very nice start for the set. Dusk going to do what he can to trade back, but we go over towards the bot lane. It's just farming back and forth. Nothing particularly exciting going to be going off in the early game here. Just a little bit of trading.
Interesting to note, we do see Fanxy going for the 3 camp here, the red Raptor's Gromp, which will give him level 3 and a potential avenue for a gank, although looking at lane states right now, he will probably just opt to go straight for the blue buff, although no, he is appearing to be pathing here towards the mid lane.
Yeah, definitely opportunities for the mid lane gank on here. Lane is pretty even, with Max Chris probably a little bit up. The beat drop is going to connect though, and it's a flash Tempest Cripple from Fanxy. The Seraphine taking a lot of damage though, back from that death ray of the Victor. And Max Crisp going to be able to flash and walk out. No, the Sonic Wave and the beat drop both connecting. Fanxy going to be able to pick up the first blood here in the mid lane. Again, very good start for Rip.
Wait, what time are you at?
Oh, no, I'm watching off your screen. It looked like they weren't going to get the kill.
Oh.
Which is why I was going down that road. And then they dove him. I wasn't expecting the dive.
I don't know if my stream's delayed or something. Hang on.
No, I was on the Discord stream. That's why.
I mean, but yeah, that will be first blood there, going down to the side of Rip. So
I actually like Fanxy collecting that over Winter in this case.
I mean, I dare say Lee Sin should almost always be the recipient of any sort of first blood. He needs to get that early gold to remain relevant.
Yeah, he needs the springboard. He needs the springboard into the game to get himself off the ground. I think, to be honest, if you're giving the Lee Sin like the first 3 kills of the game, if you are on the side of RIPSQUAD, then you're happy. Anything past 3, I think, you start to get diminishing returns. But definitely going to be very happy getting Fanxy off to this early lead. Hopefully he can continue to spread his influence throughout the map. And a hook's now going to land onto Violstorm here in the bot lane. Aftershocks procced by both supports. Pretty even trading due to the relative shielding nature of both Leona and Nautilus. Outlaw going to drop a ward into the Dundeeznuts jungle. Doesn't want to push too far up in the lane without any of that vision. Although, obviously, we can see Ares just clearing up in the top side. So no real threat posed towards the bot lane right now. And Weebly and Violstorm getting shoved in pretty hard here by the Vayne Nautilus.
One thing I want to say that I'm really disliking right now is I think Ares has forgotten he's got Predator and didn't buy boots on his first back.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're seeing him pick him up now, but... yeah, I don't like that.
Maybe he just wanted the slightly earlier Sheen to help him clear through some camps, I guess?
I mean, Sheen only helps with ganks, really. We are actually seeing Fanxy here sneaking this dragon.
Yeah. They do have the full bot priority. Outlaw takes a fair few rockets there. Big chunk coming through from Weebly. But now the RIPSQUAD bot lane going to be able to move up.
Oh.
Ares is in the area of the blast cone. Going to get denied. He flashes over the Condemn, knocking him away. And Outlaw going to fall as the dragon is slain. Weebly picking one up, and Jinx is excited and ignited, trying to kite herself away. The zap comes through, but the Sonic Wave connects. Resonating Strike going to be able to pick up the kill here for Fanxy. And the Encore catches too. Winter is going big, and Fanxy is finding all of the kills in the fight. Double kill before he is shut down by Max Crisp. And it's going to be a 2-for-1 on the fight. I believe, was it 2-for-1 or 2-for-2?
It was a 2-for-2.
Because the Vayne died at the start. But RIPSQUAD getting the dragon. So a slight win on the play for RIPSQUAD.
So that was a very back and forth fight there.
And you know what we said a minute ago about the Lee Sin getting the first 3 kills of the game.
Well, he has the first 3.
Some people call me a prophet. Yeah, Fanxy is incredibly well positioned to take over this early game now and start setting his team up for success.
So the one thing to say though is, despite having those early 3 kills, he does still have to play around the Poppy, which in that fight there, she did pop that steadfast presence way too early, which gave Lee Sin free roam to do what he wanted in the fight. But should Ares not end up panicking, like for him, Fanxy to be able to navigate these fights, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, but it's also gonna make it difficult for Outlaw to navigate these fights, right? Because if Poppy, like we said, if Poppy gets on top of Vayne with that steadfast presence, Vayne can't tumble.
I mean, I'd be hoping at least for this team comp, we'd be seeing Poppy taking more of a... Ooh.
Gonna see the engage in the bot lane. Weebly is under threat, and Fanxy gonna just find another one. Vilestorm now going to fall as well. The Dredge line and the Root are gonna come through. And he's stuck in no man's land, and Outlaw starting to receive some of that gold into his back pockets. This is the kind of transition you want to see. The Lee Sin grabs the early money, and now Outlaw and the rest of RIPSQUAD get to cash in.
So meanwhile, we are seeing the gank coming through from the mid lane here.
Yeah, we could see Winter in trouble. Steadfast presence is Middle East is in the area though, but Winter is just going to fall. You have to worry for Middle East now as Fanxy joins the fray. Could potentially be looking at picking up a couple of kills here as Ares just gets destroyed. The Nautilus Lee Sin power couple gonna find that one, and Max Crisp taking a massive chunk on the backside of the fight as well.
Ooh, so Super Mega Death Rocket does actually connect there onto Lee Sin, but he barely gets out alive. Meanwhile, in the top lane...
Going to be enough. Dusk taken very, very low. The Showstopper thrown down from the set, but it's not quite enough to find the kill. And the Shadow Dash gonna take Dusk out alive, actually enabling the Shen to save his flash. Which will be very, very nice for any potential flash Shadow Dashes later for the taunts.
Interesting to note that we didn't see Dragon Line pop the flash there, but we can see that it has been popped, probably, again, while that fighting was happening towards the mid lane, so that does actually give...
I think it was a flash Showstopper to try and carry Dusk away from safety so he could secure the kill.
Yeah, I'd imagine that is what happened. Did that Skull
quite
just get stolen?
Yes, it did. That feels bad to be Ares.
And the worst part is...
You're being abused in Twitch chat again.
Oh, why am I being abused?
It's Scott.
Oh, it's Scott. It doesn't matter then. Good to know. Look, Scott, I didn't see it, okay? I'm assuming that's what happened. Fuck you.
Won't lie, I didn't see it either. I just guessed, but made it sound confident.
But yeah, we are seeing at the 10-minute mark, it is again a 2.5k gold lead here for RIPSQUAD, but if it goes anything like
last game,
we saw this last game, yes, that's what I was about to say. Is while they have this gold lead, can they keep it?
Yeah. I think it will be a lot easier for them to keep it this game. I think their draft is a lot more standard than it was in game 1. Obviously, no Nasus this time. But we've seen what Jinx can do. I don't know if you watch... Well, you've already said tonight you don't watch much competitive, so maybe you don't watch the LEC. Jinx can do some pretty ridiculous things. Sonic Wave going to miss there from Fanxy, and the gank is off. But yeah, Jinx can do some pretty ridiculous things even from behind. Objective Bounty Gaming is a big thing, and we are going to see the engage now. Middle East going to get rooted up by the Chompers, slowed up by the Solar Flare. But the depth charge is going to zone away the Jinx. Condemn pushes her further away so that the kills can be collected on the Middle East going to take down Vilestorm. Ares and Max Crisp not quite quick enough to flash Seraphine. Oh, going to only find one though, and it is going to be Weebly that drops a second kill, going to fall to Outlaw. They make that 3, and it's a 4-for-0 in the bot lane. Outlaw collecting 2 of those kills as well. This Vayne is getting massive. It's a very similar story to game 1 so far.
Only this time there's not a Zeri Yumi which can... That's the thing. Jinx, this game, without having a Yumi attached to it, is going to be hard-pressed to be able to make these 1v9 plays that were happening last game.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more difficult for Weebly. His positioning is going to have to be pixel perfect in these late game team fights to be able to carry. And you may look at the Dundee comp and think, okay, cool. They have Victor, they have Jinx. Both of these champions scale really well. You're going into Seraphine Vayne. There's also a Nautilus, so this Vayne basically has 2 supports. This Vayne has an Enchanter and a tank support. And it's a Vayne.
It is interesting to note here that we do see Winter opting for what I'm assuming is going to be a Leandries there, as opposed to an actual Enchanter item.
I can understand it. Wants to cut through the Leona and the 2 tanks on the top side. Although I expect we will see a Force of Nature come out at some point as the depth charge going to connect onto both of the Dundeeznuts bot laners. Stun comes through onto Outlaw, but the dredge line connects, and that's just going to send Weebly down to the depths Middle East, sniping that one out with the anchor and donating the kill over to his ADC. Vilestorm going to be able to get himself out alive with about 50% HP. But it's all falling apart in the bot lane, really, for DZN.
So yeah, all the while, we just see Fancy here picking up that Herald for free. Zero not being contested, and if he manages to find a tower in the next 40 seconds, that will be another 320 gold just generated.
But the Hex Gate's going to carry the RIPSQUAD bot lane out to safety. Probably need to touch on that, actually. 2 Drakes to 0 for RIPSQUAD. Hextech Soul has hit the Rift. A lot more of an impactful Soul than we had in game 1. And we could see some interesting shenanigans with the Hex Gates. Ares looking, but not going to find anything. Oh, Dredge Line connects onto Weebly again. He's been magnetic to them, and Outlaw's just going to take that one down with the Silver Bolts. Rift Herald is going to get spawned up now, and they're going to look to funnel even more gold into this 5-1 Vayne. Solar Flare comes through, but it's only onto Fanxy. It's not really going to dissuade anything. Shelly grabs the charge, and that's going to be turret gold gifted over to the Vayne. Not first turret, though, however, as Drug Online took that one up in the top side.
So it is a shame to see, unfortunately, that Shelly was a few seconds shy of collecting that plate gold, but it is a tower nevertheless, and this is a much more open map with top and bot lane being broken.
Yeah, RIPSQUAD playing at a much higher tempo in this game too, really accelerating the game a lot more than they did in game 1, which is going to allow Dundeeznuts a lot less time to try and stabilize themselves.
So with Weebly, this feels like a very much night and day in terms of performance happening right now. From being a hard carry to 151 being magnetic to Nautilus.
Weebly is being bullied right now. And I can't imagine he's having a whole load of fun. I know Weebly as a player, as someone who holds himself to a very high standard, and yeah, this is a bit rough for him.
Penance for playing Zeri.
Well, you said it, not me.
And we are seeing Fancy pathing top lane here, potentially for the gank.
Yeah, could look for something onto Dusk. Is a long lane with that tier 1 turret no longer available. And he has managed to find his way around behind the Shen now. Showstopper gonna come through. Big damage falling on to Dusk. Where is the Sonic Wave? And it does go wide. Flashing away from the Sonic Wave. Ares now there in support. Steadfast Presence gonna come down, as does the Shen W. But Drug Online gonna find the first kill of this fight. Max Crisp trading on to Winter. Chaos Storm's down, but the Encore gonna find Charm. Max Crisp, though, finds the solo kill in the mid lane. Ares, looking to keep himself alive, dodges the Sonic Wave, can't quite survive for long enough, and does fall to Fanxy. So 2 for 1 in the top side trading, but look at all of this bot lane pressure now that RIPSQUAD have. Middle East is just walking menacingly at Weebly.
So,
Vilestorm having to flash away. They're pinned to his own tower by the Condemn.
We are staring down an 8k gold lead here at 16 minutes.
Yeah, this game much cleaner, much faster paced from RIPSQUAD.
So it's just aside from mid lane where it's 200 gold lead for Max Crisp over Winter, it's a gold lead in every single lane right now.
Yeah.
Specifically, like with Outlaw over Weebly, it's 2,500 gold lead, which is monumental to say the least. In fact, even bigger between Fanxy and Ares at 3,200. Which, that's whole items we're talking about here. And yeah, we will see him just pick up this third Drake uncontested soul point already.
Yeah, not really needing to be contested by Dundeeznuts at this point, really. I feel like if they contest this dragon, it potentially puts the game beyond their reach.
The thing is, this gives them a very scary ultimatum as at, say, 2230, that will be Hextech Soul, and that has a lot of, it's like, what, 100 base damage? Which, very early into a game is scary, especially with the stacking slows.
Yeah, it's a lot of inherent power. Big damage there onto Middle East, but the hook is going to connect onto Ares. Encore catches 4 as well. Winter going huge, and Outlaw's going to find the first kill of the fight. 1-for-1 traded back on to Winter. And it looks like Dundee winning this fight. Jinx is excited. Weebly is charging forward. Zap's not going to connect. There's a triple kill for Dusk in the fight so far. Flashing forward there from Weebly, but the flash is going to take Fanxy to safety and protect that shutdown. But RIPSQUAD pushing a bit too far forward there, you have to feel.
Yeah, so giving away 3 kills there. Unfortunately, all of them onto the Shen, which probably isn't what you want, but at this point you take any sort of gold to get back into the game. But yeah, they took that fight, and say that's the first time Dundees have finally managed to get one of these team fights they so sorely want, and it really showed. And we are actually going to see Winter's TP just to ensure that control ward doesn't fall.
That's protecting an investment there from Winter, but Max Crisp in the area with Ares could potentially look to turn onto Winter here. But I don't think we're going to see it. Winter's going to back off, and everyone is going to stay standing. But yeah, so as we edge ever closer to this Soul Dragon, we've now seen what Dundee can do in a team fight. Can they do it again?
That did lower that gold lead down from 8k to 7k, but again, was it a fluke, or as you said, can they pull it off again?
But the thing is, most of that gold injection has gone into the Shen. He did pick up a triple kill in that fight. Shen's not really the target you want all your gold going into.
Interesting to note as well that despite getting that triple kill, he's still behind on gold to Drug Online.
Much lower gap though.
It's a much lower gap, but then you're still looking at these gold leads. It's still 3,000 between the junglers, 2,500 between the AD carries. Again, yeah, 800 between supports.
We are seeing more trading on the top side, and Ares actually winning out big over Drug Online in that trade. And Weebly, Solar Flare comes through, flash away from Outlaw, keeping himself safe, keeping himself alive. And that could have spelt demise for the RIPSQUAD bot lane. Nicely set up, forces out the summoner. So that flash will not be available for Outlaw for this dragon fight. And that is quite important to remember. Well, the final hour is going to be thrown down. Ares chunked out by merely 2 auto attacks. Depth charge catches Weebly, and Weebly is blown up by Winter. Encore comes through and catches 2 as well, and without this consistent damage threat, I don't think Dundee are going to be able to recover this fight. They take down 1, but it might just be a consolation prize, as Dusk is going to fall to Drug Online as well. 3-for-1, this time in the favor of RIPSQUAD. Mid lane tier 1 is going to fall. Mid lane tier 2 now under fire, and you would expect it to follow suit. Really big fight win here for RIPSQUAD.
So yeah, just Jinx just getting hit by that Encore, and they get that's half of their range damage gone. Victor, while he is Victor, he's just not quite online yet, really.
Yeah, Victor Jinx, both kind of needing 2 items really to come online.
So we do see Victor has managed to pick up his Shadow Flame now, but Jinx is still some gold shy of that Rapid Fire Cannon being the second item of choice.
Yeah, as we're going to see Ares caught out again. Biostorm now in the area to keep his jungler alive. So Ares going to be able to escape, but you'd imagine has to be forced to recall here, as another dredge line is going to connect onto Weebly. And we talked about the guy being magnetic to dredge lines. He gets his mid laner killed as well. Max Crisp also going to fall. And now there's no way Dundee can contest anything in this river.
It does appear, however, that they are sending 3 members straight over to that Baron, as opposed to trying to pick up the soul here.
Interesting. No, they're trying to get both. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. And it looks like Ares and Vilestorm are going to stop the objective that they can fight for, going for this dragon, denying the soul point, taking out Drug Online. They're going to look to kill Middle East here as well, and they are going to find the shutdown. Baron nearly stolen by the Super Mega Death Rocket as well. And the teleports are going to start coming through. So Winter teleporting into the bot side river. Teleport comes through from Max Crisp. And we might see a full fight for this. Outlaw jumped straight onto by Dusk, though. Is going to fall to the Shen. And now Weebly is firing. The objective bounty on the Hextech Dragon is claimed. And Fanxy's going to fall too. And it's 4 for what? 4 for 0 for Dundeeznuts. Dragon for Baron trade, which initially doesn't sound particularly great, but when you consider it's a dragon to deny soul, it's not the worst trade in the world. And a mid lane outer tower.
Blue team's turret has been
I mean,
destroyed.
surely you collect the soul there, right? That
Yeah.
just felt like
Yeah, surely you just secure the soul.
that felt extremely greedy, especially since they didn't end up losing 4 out of those 5 Barons off the back foot of that play.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's objective bounties picked up as well. You get an objective bounty on the dragon, you got an objective bounty on the mid lane tower. It feels like... Oh, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
It just felt like, as you said, they've got the cake and they want to eat it too. They're just getting way too greedy for trying to take too many different things at once when you can go slow. You can take the dragon and then you've got a Vayne. You can probably then just go and walk and take the Baron anyway.
Yeah, you have a Vayne. You can play for the late game. You don't have to force things this hard. And yeah, RIPSQUAD really gonna be potentially having to suffer the consequences of this. Picking up the bot lane tier 2 with ease though. Grouped as a 5, their power is still respected by the members of DZN. And with that 1 Baroned up cannon from the 1 Baron buff that does remain, I believe, on Winter, they are still going to be able to siege. Lots of poke coming through the Seraphine. Weebly getting hit by every skill shot this game.
So we do manage to see Dusk pick up a tower on the other side of the map. Oh,
Yep, might only be a top outer tower, but now the fight is going to be engaged. Encore catches on to a few, and the fight is going to issue. Jinx finding Seraphine, starting off the fight, getting excited before being cut down by the set. Dragon Line picking up a double kill. Maybe looking for the triple, but no. Outlaw's going to take kills 3 and 4 on the fight, and this is what happens when you try and fight 5v5. RIPSQUAD smacking Dundeeznuts in the face with their wallets. I'd imagine the game will fall here.
This is just going to be game here.
Yeah, it's going to be about a 26-minute finish. Ares doing what he can, but it's not going to be enough. The Poppy doesn't have quite enough. Able to take the Nautilus down with her. But Dundeeznuts, after a shaky early game in Game 1, fall in Game 2. And we have a series on our hands, Connor. Dundee clearly listening to that, opting for the brand instead. Oh, it's Kai'Sa mid.
We love Kai'Sa mid.
Okay. I haven't. Well, I mean, I've seen Kai'Sa mid. I've seen Faker play it, and
When-
like anything looks good when Faker plays it, right? But
I know Winter has been playing it in UNL queue games to good success, so
intriguing.
come on.
And we're back in game.
Hopefully no more pauses because, well, they can't really afford them at this point.
No, I mean they only have about a minute or two of pause time now, anyway, so it would be pretty inconsequential. What time are you at?
1 minute.
Okay, cool. I'm like about a second behind you, maybe.
Well, there's a dedicated freeze because we paused.
Yep.
Minions have spawned.
And the minions have finally spawned after almost 15 minutes.
Yep, minions rolling down the lanes now. Brand into Kai'Sa, the mid lane. I'd actually forgotten that it was Kai'Sa mid.
It's been that long ago.
It's been, yeah, exactly. It's been that long. I'd forgotten we had a Kai'Sa mid. Both junglers once again going to be starting on their respective red buffs. And we are now completely underway.
It's just going to be a repeat of last game. Both. I mean, do we end up seeing Fancy go again for the 3 camp here, or
I'm
Will he go
honestly
for-
not sure. Sides have been swapped, obviously. So I don't
something
know.
which I feel it's important to note, and I've just remembered, is this is the second game we're seeing an Infernal Shell, and if my memory serves, that is a banned skin.
A very good point. I actually hadn't even considered that. But it hasn't been flagged by RIPSQUAD.
Not in either of the games, no. So we are seeing Fancy again going for the 3 camp. Whether or not that'll be going straight mid again or not, we will have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we'll see Ares just going for the standard 5 camp buff through to Grump. That's it. It looks like Fancy's just going to go in Theory's Wolves instead, as opposed to ganking
Yeah.
or the blue buff. So
Not going to want to go for the gank here for Fanxy. But like you said, Ares on the Shyvana. Going for the full clear. Because you want to just power farm to 6 with this Shyvana build.
I should Shyvana in general.
You want to be able to get to your Dragon Form because it just unlocks so much more for the champion.
Saying that, that's not going to be any fighting happening top lane. It's just going to be trading scuttle for scuttle. Although they do know exactly where Ares is right now, as that will be the ward there from Drug Online spotting him out.
Yeah, going to give RIPSQUAD a lot of information. Going to allow Outlaw and Middle East to play very, very far up in this bot lane.
Meanwhile, we're seeing a gank coming through here for Max Chris. It will immediately just force the flash out. It doesn't take any risk whatsoever.
Yep, nice little respect flash there. Going to take himself away to safety. The Sonic Wave does connect, but Fanxy's not going to follow that one under turret. This is the decisive game 3 after all. He does not want to give over the first blood to that brand. And otherwise, we're just seeing pretty back and forth farming. Fanxy looking for the gank in the bot lane. The Winter's Bite going to go wide, and that dissuades the gank completely. Sad B coming out from Middle East. Nothing going to be found down here. And Ezreal, a slippery champion to lock down at the best of times.
So I am curious, as I'm assuming it's just going to be the standard Crown build, because I don't see any reason to be going Divine Sunder into this team, but you never know.
I really don't like Crown as an item. I don't think it's that good, but
I mean, having 75% damage reduction against a Lee Sin is a godsend. Or at least just forcing him to take his time before he actually goes in after landing the Sonic Wave can do a lot for you in terms of your positioning and your team's positioning.
I don't know. I'm just not a massive fan of the item.
Yeah, we are actually seeing the TP burnt here from Winter. just to ensure that he can get tier and triple longswords.
My word, that man has a lot of hands to carry a lot of swords. Gonna be trying to sustain his early pressure in this lane. Does have a little bit of a CS lead. And we shall see what he can do with this early reset. Does give TP advantage over to Max Crisp, although as it is before 14 minutes, that's not going to have too much of an impact due to teleports not being unleashed yet.
Yeah, we are seeing Fancy here again, trying to sneak the Drake with this bot prio they have right now. And
yeah, you wouldn't necessarily expect Vayne Braum to be getting strong early priority like this over an Ezreal Sona lane.
yeah, that will just be an uncontested Drake. Meanwhile, we saw Ares walking around the jungle of Fancy and not finding anything for it.
And you see Dusk here taking a lot of damage on the top side. In the trades, big face breaker, but the minion wave gonna aggro onto Drug Online here and deal a lot of damage back. Dusk escaping on a relatively risky amount of HP, whilst Vilestorm is gonna try to chunk out Outlaw and Middle East.
But yeah, compared to these previous two games, it's a very, very tame early game, which...
Very, very quiet one. Banksy, the only player who's gonna even try to look for anything, really.
I mean, I feel the longer you can stop stuff from happening, if you're the side of Dundeeznuts, the happier you are. Because while Vayne is a late game monster, and so is AP Kai'Sa, I feel like with the Sona, their ARAM late game is very, very strong.
Yes.
And
definitely.
again, they have the Shyvana, which, if she can just keep farming, she will have the advantage over Lee Sin late game if he's not able to find these early
Ares is going for the build as well. I see that. Bambi Cinder in inventory. And I do believe he is going for the build. We are going to see a massive gank here onto the mid lane. Winter, the Shyvana, the level 6. I'm so happy. Because this means Ares is going to snowball. And this means the build is going to come online so much earlier. And it means people are going to see how terrifying the Shyvana is. You can't see my face right now, Connor, but I'm sure you can imagine the size of the smile.
Thank God. But yeah, now especially with that TP being burnt, in order to get back to the lane after the reset, that does mean that we end up seeing Kai'Sa or Winter losing a couple waves mid lane there, which, while they will get picked up by Fancy, that does put him at quite a big disadvantage in terms of against his Max Crisp.
Yeah. Yeah, so Max Crisp got himself the CS lead. Has picked up a lost chapter on that back though. And the kill just going to help to alleviate a little bit of pressure in that mid lane. Going to get Dusk rolling, not Dusk, sorry, Ares rolling as well.
Important to note. We are seeing the gank coming out bot
Oh
lane.
yeah, flashes forward, burned by both members of RIPSQUAD. Nothing really going to come of it as Vilestorm exhausting Outlaw. Sonic Wave connects though onto Weebly and Fanksy's going to pick up one. Winter is in the area, does have the Void Rush available, but isn't going to be able to dive onto anything. It's just Vilestorm who survives, just the one kill that goes down, and again, Fanksy is the recipient. He is the linchpin, really, of this RIPSQUAD team, but we see Winter getting caught out again. Ares going to pick up another kill. The double fire mid-jungle duo. Shyvana with the Dragon's Flame and Brand, well, he's a pyromaniac, what more do I need to say? Burning through the Kai'Sa's health bar.
Both dragons as well, because he is using the dragon skin.
Actually, yeah.
So we are seeing scrapping in the top lane here.
Yeah, and it's gonna be... Is it gonna be Drug Online to find the kill? Yes. The one last punch to the back of the head. The showstopper having already come through, and set health regen, I guess. Ares is here, though. Dragon form is going to come through, and that's a really easy pickup. This Shyvana, you talked about spam gank junglers. Shyvana may not be a traditional spam ganking jungler, but once she gets 6, she has free reign of the map.
Sam, I think we're starting to see why this has been banned out the other 2 games. Now that it's been left open, it is terrorizing the ref right now.
Well, you know what this pick can do. You've seen it firsthand.
Sam, we've got the gauntlet picked up already.
Yeah, that is terrifyingly early. Going to be on the way to Demonic Embrace. You see that Amp Tome picked up in the Shyvana's inventory there. 90 CS and 3-0 already. Weebly under threat though. Voidseeker going to connect.
But we do see Max Crisp and Duskay ready for the flank, and Kaiser's just
find Winter. Winter's just going to get blown up. The Pyroclasm not quite going to come through, I don't think. And Winter's going to be able to just sneak out the burn. Not quite able to take the Kaiser down, but Winter needs to keep backing off. Middle East has to be careful. Doesn't want to take the explosion into the rest of his team. And Violstorm finds that one. And we wanted to see Dundeeznuts win an early game. They've finally shown up here.
They've finally done it. So, as you said, important to note, that is a dragon taken. Which will be the increase to runner. Wait. Is she...
Is Outlaw dead?
He just burns out.
Yeah. Max Crisp on this brand, looking incredibly threatening already. And Ares on the Shyvana, it's a revelation. He's had so much early impact in this game.
Say, that Dark Harvest there, barely shoring up that kill threshold. So we do see the gank coming out top lane here, however.
But you saw the Scorch come through there as well, and yes, the gank coming in. Fanxi is going to kick back Dusk. Shyvana's in the area though, and now the Dragon does join the fight, and that damage from the Shyvana E is massive. The Dragon's Breath melting everything in its path. Drug Online trying to get away, and it's going to be Middle East who sacrifices himself to the fires of Mordor for his top laners to get out alive. Weebly now under threat from Outlaw. The Silver Bolt's going to come through, Condemn, pinning him into the wall. Arcane Shift not quite enough. Weebly, oh, it's a 1-for-1. The lethal tempo not quite enough for Outlaw to be able to survive. Dundeeznuts are going to be able to take this mid lane tower though. Never mind, not quite. Not enough damage. My bad.
Say, in what feels like...
How did Weebly manage to get that trade? That looked like a sure thing for Outlaw.
He barely got enough mana for another Q, I believe. But, yeah, in something that is somewhat uncharacteristic to these first 2 games, we're actually seeing Dundeeznuts with a 4k gold lead at 13 minutes, which is nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, RIPSQUAD look a little bit shaken. I don't know if the pause will have had any effect. Because, you know, sometimes being sat in a pause for a while, it can drive you a little bit off your game. But we see Weebly under threat again, being left in the 1v2. Obviously, Ezreal, quite a very self-sufficient champion. Doesn't necessarily need his support to be hand-holding all the time. So Violstorm has a bit more freedom to roam, although Sona not the best champion necessarily for him. We're going to see the crescendo come through though. Middle East is caught out. The door cannot be put up quickly enough. And Ares is going to break it down once it is. The True Shot Barrage whistles through onto Outlaw, and you have to imagine one more Dragon's Breath is going to secure the kill. No, not quite. Outlaw escapes on that. Must be double-digit HP.
The heal barely enough to keep him alive there.
One level lower and he dies 100% of the time. And it's, yeah, big damage. Objective bounty's going to be coming through for RIPSQUAD here. That is the extent of the lead that Dundeeznuts have here. As, yeah, I mean, Max Crisp, goodbye. Shenolt's not going to be enough to save you. Can Dusk and Ares find a turn, though? It's not going to be likely with the safeguard. Carrying Fanxi out to safety. No amount of dashes from a Shen is going to be enough to stick to Elise.
One important thing to note here is that we are seeing, as opposed to the Moonstone, which is a more standard pickup on Sona, we are seeing actually the Shirelias, which is going to make Sona or Shyvana all that harder to escape in these late game
It's
team
going to make
fights.
the whole of Dundeeznuts incredibly difficult to chase down because every aura that Shyvana casts, or Shyvana? No, Sona casts, going to be giving her allies a big old hit of movement speed. And we see that Shirelli is activated now. Shyvana coming in. The Mystic Shot's connected. Outlaw's dead before Ares can even join the fight. The door goes up from Middle East and he has to flash away. I don't know if that's going to keep him alive though, as the Dragon's Breath claims another. Ares is everywhere.
Saying there, we know why this Shyvana's been banned every game.
Welcome to this crackhead Shyvana build, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I knew this build was good. Ares is making it look incredible. Really living up to his reputation and his namesake as the God of War. Just, yeah, fights everywhere and he's winning all of them.
And again, this should be just the second Drake picked up completely uncontested for the site, or say the third Drake. Their second Drake. Important to note again, it's an Ocean Soul this game, so if they get
whichever side pick this soul up, is huge.
Yeah.
But the other important thing to note, 5 armor, 5 magic resist for Shyvana now.
10 in Dragon form.
Yeah. And that's for each Drake. So 10 total already for Ares, which is really going to help make him a lot more deceptively tanky.
Saying it, they are going to as well just turn that into a Herald, and again, there's not much they can do to contest this right now, as they are staring down a 5,500 gold lead right now.
Yeah, RIPSQUAD not seeming like they really have an answer right now for this Dundeeznuts aggression. Vilestorm moving into the top lane, just helping to shore up Dusk. Maybe get a little bit more pressure on this turret.
So they're just looking to break it, I believe. Although we do see Ares walking straight into Fancy.
Here, though, with the Rift Herald, I don't think Ares cares where Fancy is, to be honest. On this Shyvana, he is absolutely huge.
So
I
we
think
do
he can
see
walk wherever.
So we do see the teleport coming out from Winter there, just to dissuade them from taking that tower, and it will leave it standing for now. And we do see a fight breaking out here.
Shot Barrage catches onto 2, and the Shyvana's going to dive over the wall. Middle East, once again, the Sacrificial Lamb, not receiving any support for his team from his teammates, but enabling them to have a path to safety.
I dare say Middle East is like Game 2 Middle East versus Game 3 Middle East. It was Weebly, now it's not having a fun time right now, as he ends up being the sacrificial pawn for every single one of these plays that's happening around the map. Be that him overstepping or him trying to save people. But
yeah,
he has got a worse score than what Weebly did last game.
But you could also argue he's doing his job. Weebly going to get tagged by the Sonic Wave though, and is it the Caster Curse? Banksy going to insect Weebly back in, and it is. Banksy picks up the kill, claims the shutdown onto Weebly, 450 gold into the Lee Sin's pockets.
You have to ask why he's even looking for the fight there when he's by himself, as opposed to just walking away.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blaming that one on you. I'm giving Weebly a pass on that one. That's your fault.
It happened 3 minutes ago. It's not my fault.
That was a Caster Curse.
Yes, I can I can curse the past. Correct.
Yep. Yes, you can. But Ares has the Demonic Embrace now. So his build is now complete. Whatever he desires, whatever his heart so dreams of, is now up to him.
So it's looking like it's going to be probably a Bramble Vest into Thornmail here.
Oh, he just doesn't want to die.
Well, I mean, when you see the Set, Lee Sin, and Vayne all with their healing mythics, you can't exactly say no.
No, definitely not. And it just gives him that bit more freedom to just dive forward. Like, what magic damage do you really see coming out from Rip right now? Obviously, Kai'Sa will begin to spec more into ability power as the game drags on. But for now, all you see is AD, and now you see a Shyvana diving into your face. Middle East gets the door up in time, but it's not enough. Max Crisp and Ares together have so much damage, and RIPSQUAD do not seem to have an answer. It's going to be nearly an inhib tower falling at 20 minutes. And why did we not see this Dundeeznuts last game?
Because Shyvana was banned.
Where was this version of this team?
Shyvana was banned.
I mean, sure, but like, if one pick, if it's just the Shyvana can have this team looking like this, then surely for the rest of playoffs, if you are Ares, if you are Dundeeznuts, you have to just know you're never getting this champion again.
What's that? Game 1, Zeri is very much game 3 Shyvana.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the backpack.
Yep, Ares is very much carrying everything. And Shyvana, probably a bit stronger, probably able to carry a bit easier than Zeri, you know? She's a dragon. She's going to be able to carry more weight.
Yeah, we do see, off of that terrible joke, we see Dundeeznuts now starting to prepare for this dragon. We do see the Kai'Sa Void Seekers, or whatever they're called, starting to do a lot of damage now.
Void Seeker's really going to start to hurt. I think that's the Mana Moon
Ludens
come through. I don't know, but the Ludens really just give so much more output to that Kai'Sa. But it's going to be Dragon number 3 for Dundeeznuts, and if they can get the soul on the next Drake, it's going to really start to nullify the power of this Kai'Sa.
But yeah, we're still looking at the 6k gold lead right now. And with this Baron, there shouldn't be a reason why they can't break the mid lane turret here, as they don't exactly have any sort of good wave clear on the side of RIPSQUAD here.
No. The only realistic wave clear that they have is the Kai'Sa Icathian Rain. And you basically have to be in melee range for that anyway. So, yeah, with the Baron buff, sieging up these towers, it's going to be really hard. Ooh, big damage onto Vilestorm, though, from that Void Seeker. And I think that Dundeeznuts are might just even get pushed off purely from the Void Seeker damage.
So they will, however, just rotate straight to the top lane here that Dusk has been preparing. So they'll take down one tower and...
Yeah, now they have another wave. The health bars are back up to full. We'll see what they can get done on this top lane tower. Maybe they don't get hit by quite so many skill shots.
So we see them slowly getting poked down between Weebly and Max Crisp, and that will just be the top lane tower dropping here. Ooh.
Yeah, not going to be an engage, but no. Ares is going to dive forward. The Dragon's Breath coming through and melting everything. Vilestorm picks up the second kill of the fight onto Middle East. And it is all every man for themselves for RIPSQUAD. Outlaw goes down to Max Crisp. The burn is just too strong. Ares and Fanxy gonna go mano-y-mano. I think Fanxy wins this one. And it is going to be a shutdown on the Shyvana. Top lane inhib's going to fall. Snipe onto Weebly from Winter. That's going to narrow the gap down a bit. But Dusk does not want any shenanigans here. One Nexus turret is going to fall. Last auto attacks coming through there from Max Crisp and Vilestorm, and the Shurelias is popped to try and get the members of DZN out of here. Middle East wants to fight Max Crisp, but I don't know if he's biting off more than he can chew here.
But yeah, that's a lot of your base to lose. Especially with Soul starting to get approached closer and closer, having that top lane inhib comes the last thing you want. And say Ares diving in 1v2 and taking 10 years to actually die. Interesting to note that he is sitting on the Bramble and it looks like he's going straight towards the Cosmic Drive here, just outputting more damage.
Oh yes, Shyvana wanting to output as much damage as humanly possible. Don't know if you can really say humanly, considering, you know, the dragon form nature of the champion. But yeah, Ares is massive, and I can understand the idea to sit on the Bramble Vest. You don't need to go to a full form male this just yet. The healing reduction on the Bramble Vest is enough.
Yeah, again, we're seeing them just, especially with that top lane inhib down, that they can just siege mid. However, Kai'Sa putting in the work, just Void Seeker after Void Seeker landing.
They don't seem to hurt Ares too much, though. They definitely take a chunk out of Vilestorm's health bar. They don't seem to be hurting Ares all that much.
Saying it is right now when perhaps not having that redemption, Moonstone will hurt a bit, but again, with that Shirelli,
Probably takes a big chunk. But Sona is actually very effectively able to heal up all of this Kai'Sa damage. As another turret falls, the True Shot Barrage is going to whistle through, chip away a few health bars. Another Void Seeker lands, but the Sona is going to keep healing these up. I actually really like this Sona pick here.
So, we are seeing the Ocean Drake spawning in 30 seconds here.
Yeah, and this would be Ocean Soul, remember, for Dundeeznuts if they are able to secure this. You feel like RIP have to take this fight. Whether they feel like they're ready or not, Weebly is on a sliver. Weebly is very chunked out right now. If one more Void Seeker connects.
Yeah, he is, however, regaining his entire health bar a la Sona. Oh!
But this is what I mean. This is what I mean by the power of Sona, and now we see the fight fully engaging. It's looking big for DZN. Sona falls early, though, so there's a lot of the healing removed from the fight, but Ares picks up one. Weebly picks up a second. Fanxi is going to fall. And now it is Ares. Oh, the snipe from Weebly on to Middle East. It's a 3-for-1 fight. Vilestorm, the only casualty. You can take their Sona. You can take away their healing, but they're still going to win the team fight. It's now Ocean Soul on top of Sona healing.
And the difficulty they had actually killing people just got 10 times harder as now.
Yep.
Like,
and now Dundee going to run straight for the Baron.
Say with no reason not to, with Banksy Steeler being on an 8-second timer, and will Baron even manage to live that long?
I think it will just. We've hit half health on the Baron as Fanksy's ticked onto 3 seconds, so I think he will just respawn. He's on the Rift for about 3 seconds himself. The Baron is gone. Baron number 2 for Dundeeznuts, and Ares has DC'd again.
He's taken a 3-second vacation.
Yep. But he's back, so it's fine. Can we have a quick look at the items, just to see if there's any anti-heal on the side of RIPSQUAD?
As of right now,
I'm not seeing any.
There is not a single bit of anti-heal. Saying that, we have just seen the Oblivion Oil picked up by Winter here. But
okay.
Winter, again, does not have a good way to actually apply it in these fights.
I mean, Acathian Rain.
That's physical damage, isn't it?
I think... maybe?
Acathian Rain, yeah, it's physical damage. So Kai'Sa has to either auto-attack people or land Ws. And auto-attacking people when this Shyvana exists is a bit of a monumental task.
Especially when you're a shorter range ADC like a Kai'Sa. Or a shorter range champion. I can't really say ADC in the context of this game with the Kai'Sa build, can I?
No.
Mid lane inhibitor turret though, going to be sieged up. You'd expect it to just drop here. And again, Vilestorm taking a big chunk from this Kai'Sa. This Kai'Sa is doing work.
Problem is now, unless she's able to
trying to carry this game. And the fight is going to be engaged yet again, but again, Vilestorm instantly going to get blown up. We see Weebly falling as well, but it's 2 for 2 currently on the fight. Ares dropping very low, and Ares does actually fall. This fight could turn very quickly in the favor of RIPSQUAD. Outlaw is still alive, Outlaw is still free firing, but Max Crisp on the Brand is able to output so much damage. Fanxi is getting burned away, Outlaw tumbling back in, Winter diving back forward, firing off more Void Seekers, and Max Crisp is going to fall. It's 4 kills for RIPSQUAD. Make that 5 for RIPSQUAD, 5 for 2 in the fight. RIPSQUAD gonna rout Dundeeznuts, and could this be the turn?
Despite having
Of
the
this
Baron
game.
and the Soul advantage, they still managed to find a way to lose that team fight. I think, yeah, Vilestorm just got caught out there, which, without that Crescendo, they just got rolled.
Yeah, Crescendo, massive amounts of CC able to come through, but Fanxy, I feel like, playing that team fight so well. Being able to dip, duck, dodge, and dive around the entire fight, finding all the key targets, helping his team to finish off all the kills. And yeah, I mean, solid performance from the RIPSQUAD jungler, really, so far. So far this series, to be honest. But will Dundeeznuts be able to bounce back from that? You have to imagine they would, right?
I mean, again, they do have the Ocean Soul. But we are seeing actually an Anathema's changed here come out from the Shen, which I don't know who that's gone on right now.
You have
be
to
honest.
click on all of the enemy champions to see.
I believe it had. Yeah, it's gone onto the Vayne here.
Okay.
Try and keep her locked down.
Does Anathema's reduce
No, it doesn't
true
reduce
damage?
true damage.
Okay. There we go. But then again, I guess on a Shen you don't really care about poke, so it makes the most sense to put it onto the Vayne anyway, because the Vayne is the other like super consistent damage source.
So I feel it's less for the poke and more like catching out this Vayne with one Crescendo.
Yeah, either one Crescendo or even one Taunt, because increasing, like reducing the tenacity on the Vayne will be pretty huge.
Yeah, we're just back at mid game with no objectives to fight for right now, and RIPSQUAD doing their best to stop their jungler from disconnecting again, apparently.
Apparently we're going to have another disconnect for Ares. He doesn't look very disconnected to me in the mid lane there.
Important to note, Elder Dragon is 1 minute.
Yeah. Huh. I'm going to be interested to see what Dundeeznuts can get done in that minute, but we are going to see a fight, and it is going to be Fanxy finding the first kill again. 1-for-1 traded, jungle for support as Middle East is going to fall. Can Dundeeznuts get away? It's not looking like it. Winter's going to find one, but again, it's answered back. Weebly going to get taken down, and it's 3-4-2 on the fight so far for RIPSQUAD. Max Crisp is still alive, gets tagged by the Lee Sin though. Trying to do what he can here on the Brand. Has the Rylai's Crystal Scepter working and ticking away. The Zhonya's is going to get thrown down. The explosions from the Brand passive, but it's not enough. Fanksy's going to pick that one up. He is dominating. Winter's not quite going to tick away. Neither is Outlaw. Neither is Drug Online. And this is going to be Elder Dragon for RIPSQUAD.
Saying this game is absolutely nail-biting right now, how close it is.
Oh mama. And it's gonna be Elder Dragon on 4 people as well. I don't know if they're gonna drag this out so that Outlaw gets the buff. They're not. Or maybe he did. Does Outlaw have Elder buff?
He does not.
Must have just missed out there on the Elder buff. I would have actually really liked to see Rip like not kill the Elder Dragon so that Outlaw was able to pick that buff up. It's probably not like that impactful as we go into another pause. It's probably not that impactful on the whole, but yeah. Okay, so it's 1 minute 20 on the pause. I don't know why we've got a pause.
I think Ares is restarting his router again as he's experienced more internet issues.
Okay. Well, there's 60 seconds of pause time left for DZN.
What's your thoughts on this game right now?
I
Who
have
do
no
you
idea.
think is the victor?
I have no idea. Yeah, it looked like Dundeeznuts were running away with this game, and then they've just made a couple of blunders, a couple of small blunders that Rip Squad have really been able to capitalize on to propel themselves back into this. Objective bounties are still on for Rip Squad, so there is still a pretty sizable lead for DZN. But I'm honestly not sure with how this game is panning out. I think the internet issues could be having an effect. Um, but yeah, I really don't know. It kind of comes down, and it's gonna sound like a massive cop out, right? But it just comes down to who can execute on these team fights better now that we're into the late game.
But yeah, you feel like at this point, Dundee should have won, but their gold lead has now dropped from what was 6k to 3k. While they do have that sole advantage, they are now having to stare down what is Elder Dragon, which should theoretically give you a free Baron as well. And this could be the pushback that Rip Squad need when they have what is basically an open base bar one Nexus Tower.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of standing gold on the map. If you look at the turrets, 10-1 in favor of Dundeeznuts. 10 turrets that Dundeeznuts have taken to the single tower that Rip Squad have taken. If Rip Squad win one team fight, sure, might spell the end of the game, so it might not matter. But how much gold is going to be available for Rip Squad to connect?
In addition, if the objective bounties hang around as well, it's even more gold being distributed.
Props to Rip, by the way, using up their pause time so that the game is not decided on a router differential. However, I am getting very sleepy at this point. I don't know about you.
You telling me you don't enjoy watching Pause Fest?
I would rather watch paint dry, but you know. Once we get back into game, it'll be fine. I just very much dislike watching a pause screen.
I wonder why. Thought you'd find this entertaining.
What? No. Hopefully, though, Ares can get these issues sorted. We can get back into game, and we can get the game finished with all 10 players in the lobby.
Talking about getting back into game.
Oh, we are seeing Ares reconnect. So hopefully, we will be getting back into game soon, and this series that is nearing on 3.5 hours can have a resolution. I feel like I'm starting to lose my mind here. Looking at a pause screen. Oh, no, never mind. The dream's dead. Ares DC'd again. But we've still got time. There's still time for Ares to get himself sorted. We still have 11.5 minutes remaining on the pause timer. Otherwise, we're gonna have to just get going. I don't actually know what happens when the pause timer hits 0. Does it just automatically unpause?
I have no idea.
Interesting. Well, hopefully we don't have to find out this game. But as the timer continues to tick on and on and on, maybe we won't have a choice to find out.
We can pray.
We can indeed. But yeah, I did not expect to still be casting this series at 20 past 10.
Oh,
Oh, are we back? We're back in?
bar the miniature pause.
Yeah,
Because
bar the
game.
freeze. Yeah, indie company. The smallest of indie companies, I might add.
So it will look like we are prepping here for this Baron to be contested by both teams.
Yep.
Whether or not they'll go well staring down an Elder Dragon, we'll have to wait.
Yeah, I was going to say, RIPSQUAD still have Elder Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Imagine there was a bug that meant like neutral buffs tick down still during a pause.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Honestly, right? Like, this Elder Dragon makes the Void Seekers so much more deadly as well. It's a little bit ridiculous. Because you get hit by 2 of them if you're a squishy, and you're gone, pretty much. Like, you're just deleted. And RIPSQUAD now gonna start Baron, trying to dare Dundeeznuts to come and fight them, whilst they have the Baron buff active. They've got to be super careful, and the Baron's gonna go over now to RIPSQUAD with the objective bounty gold as well. How have the bounties not dropped off yet, by the way?
That's the power of having 3 more Drakes than your opponent.
Yeah, I guess.
And also every single tower on the map.
Yeah. So Dundeeznuts staring down a Baroned up, Eldered up RIPSQUAD. What are they going to be able to do? Fangs is going in looking for the kick, but he's got instantly stunned up by the Crescendo. Stopwatch comes through, and Winter is going to find Max Crisp. Ares trying to do what damage he can, and Weebly is going to pick up Fanksy. 1-for-1 so far on the fight. Mid lane outer tower is going to fall, and Dundeeznuts are going to back off, not wanting to take the fight further. Oh my god, Weebly. Winter does so much damage with those Void Seekers. And you feel like the balance of power in this game may have slightly shifted now. And that RIPSQUAD taking the initiative, trying to wrestle back control, trying to wrestle back the lead. Objective bounties have now fallen off, but there's a snipe from Winter, and we were just talking about how deadly those Void Seekers could be with the Elder Dragon buff. Winter slamming home the point there with a snipe on to the AD carry of Dundeeznuts. Mid lane inhibitor gonna fall now as a result. And yeah, RIPSQUAD taking control of this game now.
Saying that's what, for the first time this game, they finally have a gold lead here.
Yeah, but it's looking very, very promising for RIPSQUAD. Both of these teams now one poor fight away from defeat.
Oh.
And honestly, if you told me either of these teams were going to win this game from this position, I'd have a hard time telling you you were wrong. This game is finally balanced, as all things should be.
So one thing to note is Ares has finally managed to pick up a Void Staff against all of this MR that Rip have been accruing.
Yeah, I would like to see a Void Staff for Max Crisp as well, to be honest. I feel like both of the magic damage dealers are going to be needing them. But obviously Ares, much greater income than anyone else on his team, has been getting a lot of the kills in these team fights. Vilestorm chunked out to about 50% from one Void Seeker. And that Ocean Soul really isn't doing a lot to deal with the poke right now.
So the problem is they're just not able to get into combat with this team.
Yeah, they're sitting at such range using... Oh, and we have another pause.
It's on the side of RIPSQUAD this time.
Is this game ever going to end?
I was planning to do stuff this evening, but it might just be me going to bed after this game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But we are in the last 9 minutes of pause timer. So if this pause goes on for that much longer... Oh, never mind. We're straight back into game. I love not getting the countdown. It means we never know what's actually going on.
Small indie company. So hopefully we'll be on Frozen like right about now. That'd be nice.
Would be ideal. You are correct. You know, being able to see the game we're supposed to be commentating over is always a good thing. And there we go. Oh, don't even joke about that. I see Twitch chat joking about the game going all the way to a remake with there being that many issues. Don't even joke about that. Oh my god. Winter does so much damage with these Void Seekers. Oh, Weebly. Someone needs to stand in front of these Dundeeznuts players, man. Ares, Dusk, do your jobs. Tank the skill shots for God's sake. As Ares trying to do what he can, poking back, but RIPSQUAD going to take another tower. And now the fight is going to be engaged upon, again, Dragon Form, Shyvana going to be doing what she can. Trisha Barrage whistling through as well in the first kill of the fight, going to be Middle East falling. Ares taken down very shortly afterwards, and Weebly loses all of his health to one Void Seeker. Not quite going to drop, but may as well be. So much damage being taken from these Void Seekers now, and the inhib in the bot lane is going to fall. Not a great trade for Dundeeznuts, losing their Shyvana in only the Braum. 0 and 11 Braum, I might add. Middle East not having his greatest game.
And yeah, we're going to be seeing another Elder Dragon spawning here, and
Yeah,
Dundee do not
Ares
have
for
their
it.
jungler to contest it, correct?
Do we believe in miracles?
No.
Oh, it was close. I saw a brand Q sneak over just as the Elder Dragon fell. But RIPSQUAD. I believe this is 5-man Elder with 2 dead inhibitors on the other team's side. Surely, RIPSQUAD will find the win with this Elder Drake. Surely, right?
If Kai'Sa wasn't oppressive enough after the first round of Elder, she's now on a second one where...
She has a lot more items.
Indeed. And again, this will just set them up for yet another Baron play.
Yeah, and I don't think there's really anything Dundeeznuts can do to contest this Baron unless they find the perfect engage. Which I just can't see happening. I don't see RIPSQUAD grouping up for a 5-man crescendo. And it looks like Dundeeznuts aren't even going to contest this Baron, which I can completely understand. There's no point losing the game fighting into Elder. Because it looks like RIPSQUAD going to try and play this one tutorial style. Going for all towers, all inhibitors, which actually just is going to run down their run down their Elder Timer.
I think they'd rather just slowly but surely suffocate them out of the game, as, well, they can't really take many risks themselves either, as one bad fight and they lose off their own inhibitors.
Yeah, exactly. One bad fight for either team and they lose the game. Teleport coming in now from Winter, keeping one of those minions alive as it tanks the turret. Baroned up minion wave going to tear through these structures at this point. And as Dundeeznuts, surely you have to just take the fight now. Yeah, sure, they are Elder buffed up, but otherwise you just lose your base. And we're going to see the fight now being taken. No one is going to fall from RIPSQUAD. Banksy has his Guardian Angel popped. Weebly is the only fatality of the fight so far, as Ares is going to find one onto Drug Online. Can the fight start to turn? Dusk picking up Middle East. Outlaw finds Wildstorms. 3 for 2 so far on the fight. And is that replay bug? No, we are still going. There was a bit of a freeze on the stream for me there. Apologies, guys. But it looks like it's going to be RIPSQUAD after a marathon game who are going to take the victory. They're going to take the series 2-1. I don't even know what happened there during the last, like, 10 minutes of that game, because my brain is just in shambles.